Hello, everybody. Welcome back again. I'm working on this series of videos that I'm calling my vomit letters. And we already went through vomit letter number 1, which was the rough draft from my brother to my parents. And now I'm going to read vomit letter number 2, which is the final draft that my brother sent to my parents. And then again, my successive order will be my letter to my parents. And then finally, I'm going to conclude this series with my parents' letter back to me. So let's get started here. Dear Mom and Dad, I am writing a letter to you guys to explain my inner feelings. My goal is to be a healthy and stable person to the best of my abilities. This means mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. In this quest, which I've been on for the last 6 years, and this time I've considered and pondered many things on all 3 subjects. I know we have discussed things about the past and my upbringing, and how I wish things were different between me, James, and you guys. And that some matters were resolved. I've read this like twice, so I apologize if I stumble a little bit. First, I want you to understand. Oh, sorry. But now I have realized some new things I have to bring out to both of you. First, I want you to understand I still and will always know why either of you were not the best parents. I know from what you shared of your past how it has affected both of you and your parenting skills. I also understand that both of you went through a little therapy, Dad more than Mom. And I feel that neither of you have completely broken the cycle, and honestly, from my perspective, Mom has done nothing to break the cycle. I hope that you realize that none of this is to be mean or hurtful, but does not change the fact of it needing to be discussed. Dad, you still get upset when James or I don't agree fully with you, and Mom, you just sit by and are okay. With this, I want you to understand we are grown men and capable and responsible for our own decisions and actions, whether you approve or not, and does not need to be discussed over and over again. You both have had and continue to have comments about our wives. What I don't understand is that yes, our wives do have emotional obstacles, but so do your own 2 sons, and this is due to our raising by both of you, so it stands to reason we would marry women like us. Excuse me real quick. It's been a lot of reading tonight. Remember, healthy attracts healthy, and dysfunction attracts dysfunction. I believe neither of you fully realize and think about this. And Dad, I believe you do this to lift yourself up from your own heart, and this is part of your toxicity. And part of your toxicity, Mom, is that you just let it be or let your intellect do the feeling for you. You do realize a son's only example on women growing up is their mother, and you told me countless stories about your parents being disconnected or procrastinate. I'm very serious on very serious and emotional matters with you. You aren't one of the most intelligent people I know. You have to be able to realize you emulate that behavior you learned from your own parents. I want both of you to realize I love Sarah very much, and yes, she does struggle from time to time, but she is open with her struggles to me, and has and continues to support me and understand me for who I am, and tries to be better at it every day. She took the time, as you know, to change herself for the better and stuck with it, which means you never graduate from therapy as a whole. Doesn't mean you have to always go to a therapist, but I always go over and meditate on what you learn and apply it. And if you forget, go back and relearn it. I have noticed that both of you seem disgruntled over past issues, opinionated, and only you to know what's right when you do talk to me and your visits in the past. You guys only talk about yourselves, and when the subject changes, you bring it back to yourselves. Dad, I understand you have ADD. My son has it, and a friend of mine has it, so I see how it affects people close to me. But it is not an excuse for bad behavior or inappropriate behavior. So your question about living in Kings Mountain is inappropriate. I know you remember what Sarah said about respecting her feelings. I do feel at times I take a parental role with you too, and that I find myself explaining how people make decisions and actions you don't like or agree with, and to be accepting of others regardless of their mistakes or thoughts on stuff. They are entitled to their opinions. And when it comes to James, Dad, you were especially, I feel, I remind you often that he acts and does what he does. Remember, you raised him and are responsible for how he and I turned out. It's true that we are not delinquents, but emotionally and people skills, we are not what we could have been regardless of money. In writing this, I realized I raised myself in a lot of ways, and some of James. We were alone a lot, and I realized it was due to you guys working hard to get money to support the family, and thank you. But that opened the door for abuse from me onto James. I have a lot of regret in this area of my life. This is why I talked often to James about it, and I told him if there's anything he needs from me to rectify the situation, and I'll try to give it my best effort to resolve it. I did not just say sorry and moved on. I know it could take years to resolve it, and it is my responsibility to make it right. It hurts to remember that when I did inform you guys of this, you never once asked what you could do to help or accept any responsibility towards it. I have often been left to fix my problems, rely on my own self, and by myself. All the abuse that happened was right under our nose, is, you have said, some very own empathetics about Thelma and Fred on how abuse could happen in their house and do nothing, and here you have done the same thing. Sorry, this is a lot to get through. This second letter was twice as long as the first one. So, and I apologize. My brother's grammar was just bad. I feel I've made it easy on you too. In my childhood, the majority of my time I was home alone or at friends' houses, not wanting to be at home. That is a sobering thought for me. Have you stopped and thought about that in depth? Sometimes I believe you guys are grateful on how self-sufficient I am. And also, I never really burdened you guys a lot. I even know how to act out and keep it from you guys for years, until I manned up and told you what had been going on. There was a lot I did, and I did not have to tell you, and you would never have known. And this was due to your lack of involvement in my life. I could have never had gone to either of you about my problems before they became serious. Me and James hurt bad inside due to your parenting skills and your continued dysfunctions, as I have mentioned. Just so you both understand, this has nothing to do with the organization. This behavior would have been the same even if you two were never witnesses. Please spend some time and think about it. This is the same in all walks of life in every religion on earth. I believe you blame the witness faith for a lot of your own shortcomings. Please get help. Again, both of you can benefit from it, and please stick with it to the end. There is no graduating, it is a lifestyle change. I have been under your influence, and that has now stopped abruptly. I wish I didn't wait until 36 to do this. Now, just so you know, this was about 5-6 years ago when these letters were written. So I am now 37 and my brother is 42. So, but this was my brother writing this letter, so. Come on, tablet. Dad, you are still inappropriately loud and can be obnoxious and self-absorbed, and this is due to your own insecurities. I and James would love for you to change and put all your shame and pride to the side and not be defensive in any way to me or James on our feelings toward you. Mom, you are very disconnected and seemingly cold. I know you love James and I, but you don't show it in an emotional way. You just ignore, and you're going to have to feel the past in its full, raw self if you want to succeed. Maybe you have noticed I have mentioned James a bit. I do so because I feel a responsibility for him. I influenced him greatly while we grew up, and I will always be there for him as long as he wants me to be his confidant and support. I am sure at some point he'll most likely confront you two as well. It is very sad to me. You have two sons that would have loved to have had a loving, healthy relationship with both of you. I will not speak for James, he is a grown man. But I will not continue to let you to be in my and my family's lives until your unhealthy behavior changes. And let me be clear, until these behaviors are, number one, handled, get real help with yourselves, get professional help. Number two, don't apply what you learn and stick with it and make a lifestyle change. And three, serious changes are made, will I can reconsider. And I'm not going to go through the process with either of you. Do it on your own if you so choose. And do it to completion. No halfway stuff to smooth it over. I am looking for a real and permanent change. This is a huge part of my life, and if you choose not to do it, it will speak volumes to me. And don't want to hear or see drama about this, or excuses or blame, and don't contact me and my family until you have made and accomplished the previously mentioned. And so you know, I do believe in God and the Bible after all these years of consideration. And whatever you believe, fine. I don't care. Really, I don't. But please respect my beliefs as well. This letter is solely based on a healthier lifestyle for me and my family and how you've acted towards me and Lori. When I was going through my tough patches in my marriage, you guys were quick to tell me I was right and Lori was the sole problem due to her religion and dysfunctions. Yes, she played her part, but I played mine as well, and I learned I was a lousy husband at times and needed to change. You should have told me this side as well, regardless of how I would have taken it, not encourage me. I'm very thankful we stuck it out and worked through our problems. She has turned out to be an awesome wife, and I love her wholeheartedly. It hurts you did not steer me in that direction. Remember, I don't hate you, but I have come to realize that I have zero tolerance for abuse, toxic, unhealthy behaviors in my life, and I will fight my hardest against that behavior. So if you make the decision to get help and follow through to the end with it, I will be here I will be here. If not, I made myself very clear. Don't bother testing my resolve. I am very serious. So, again, that's the end of the letter. What a load of crap. I mean, what the indoctrination of this religion does to people really, really screws with you. It did me too. It did me too. I did the same thing. I wrote a letter. As you'll see in my next video. Again, I'll say it again. You don't have to like this video. I don't like this video. I'm doing it to bring awareness of the things that this religion does to people. And this kind of crap needs to stop. Breaking up families, people going to these extremes, thinking that they need to cut off family ties because of the religion. Now, he stated, oh, it has nothing to do with religion. Yes, it does. If it wasn't for the witnesses telling people they have to shun and cut people out and all that, you wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it. But that's what it is. And that's what needs to stop. No natural affection. Use their own scripture against them. No natural affection. Where is your natural affection when you're cutting off your family members? Now, I can agree. There are situations where you might have to. If they're really abusive, if they didn't care, if they beat the living hell out of you, sexually abused you, and showed no remorse, didn't even try, please cut them out. They're bad for you. My parents didn't do that. Was my dad an asshole at times? Yes. Again, yes, he was. But that doesn't mean the man didn't try. He always tried supporting us. He was a hard worker. And he cared for us. So anyways, that's all I got for you on this one. And I'll be making the next one soon. Thank you all for watching. Bye.